How'd you kind of characterize the end there with the wild momentum swings back and forth, a couple of chances that came up a little short?
Yeah, I mean, we had our opportunities today. We just didn't capitalize on them. So, give Stanford credit. They they came up with the plays when they needed them at the end of the game defensively.
There was a long review delay. Do you feel like that maybe hurt momentum at that point? You guys had just had a huge play.
Which one?
The Caleb, when I get there looking out of bounds with a 66-yarder.
No, I don't. I'm not into the momentum thing, Ben. I know you keep going there all the time, but I mean that's just the way the game goes. That's the nature of the game nowadays, and they've got to look at it. If he did step out, it was closer than I thought. He didn't, but I mean that's part of it. That's not an excuse. We're not in the excuse business. So, we got to score, and we're down in that close, and we didn't score. So.
Coach, was Stefan Flintoff available for this game?
No, he was not available.
Did he suffer an injury this week in practice?
He was not available.
Was J.J. Molson going to be the punter in the second half?
We didn't. We talked about a lot of things, but we didn't have to punt in the second half. So.
What do you think about Wilton's performance in what will be his final college game? That was a new career high for him for single-game passing yards.
Yeah, I thought he did some really nice things. There's probably a couple of these we wish we threw away. But I thought in clutch situations he was really good. He got hurt at the beginning of the year, so to come back and play like he played the last couple of games, it tells you the type of player he is. He's a tough guy. He got banged around today, took some shots, but just kept getting up and playing. So, really happy on how he transitioned from Michigan to here and did a really good job. Was a great teammate, and I know all of our players learned a lot from him. So.
Coach, how would you characterize Caleb Wilson's effort and his performance today?
Yeah, I think it's what Caleb has done for us all year long. He's been very resilient. He's a clutch player. He's got a knack of getting open and makes clutch plays when we need him. So I think he was a big security blanket for our quarterbacks all season long.
Coach, I know you've said all season you don't want to look back. You want to focus on the present. Now that the season's over, are there any early reflections that you have after this game on how the first season at UCLA went?
Through the game that just ended 3 minutes ago, I think I'll take a little bit more time before I reflect on that. So,
did you like the way that your team showed effort though these last couple of games of the season?
I think our team showed up to play in every game this season.
Josh Kelly didn't have that big of a game. How much more difficult is it for your offense to operate when you don't have that running game?
I think you got to give them credit. They wanted to take away the run. They played a lot more man coverage. So you got to take what they do. It's the same thing we did. We try to take away their run, and then you got to capitalize. I thought Costello played a really good game for them. I thought Wilton played a really good game for us. But it was a game where I don't think either team was going to let either Love or Kelly beat them. So they took ours away, we took theirs away. So it turned into a throwing game.
Coach, how big of a factor was J.J. Arcega-Whiteside in this game?
He's obviously one of the more talented receivers in this league, and he's a precise route runner, but I think his size is what kind of separates him from probably some of the other receivers in this league. He was a very tough matchup, especially for our smaller DBs today.
Chip, I know it's Thanksgiving weekend and stuff. Students aren't, out of town, but attendance today a little bit more than 38,000. Any kind of disappointment on your part that maybe you weren't able to create a little bit more buzz here in the first season?
No, I'm not. I'm worried about getting first downs and stopping people. So, we're trying to grow a young football team, and that's what these guys did. They learned how to compete every single week, and I'm proud of their effort. We just need more weapons.
Coach, on every kick return other than Darnay's 93-yard return, it was a fair catch call. For that particular one, did you tell Darnay to just go? And
yeah, we took it out because it was a safety, so the ball was kicked from the 20 and not the 35. So where he caught it probably would have been the 25-yard line. So we always do that. If there's a penalty, if there's a safety, we're going to return those. So.
You said you need more weapons. What do you think are the biggest needs going forward?
We'll identify it as a staff as we move forward. So this isn't the time to talk about that right now, to be honest with you.
Coach, how big of a factor has it been just a lack of pass rush this season and in this game?
I mean, obviously, when you're playing against a talented kid like Costello, you can't allow him to take as much time as he did. So it's something that we have to look at and work on in the off season and make sure that we can do a better job generating a rush so our DBs don't have to cover for as long.
Coach, what was the thought process end of the first half? You call a timeout with 44 seconds left. Was there more time on the clock that you could have let run down, and then maybe Stanford doesn't return that kickoff 77 yards?
Say that again.
At the end of the first half, you called timeout with 44 seconds left.
Yeah, what time did we score with? We ran some plays after that.
Yeah, but if you let the time roll down a little bit more, you
Yeah,
could
but
have
if we
scored
don't
with.
score, then you can't tell your guys not to score, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I guess the point of my question was.
Yeah, your point of your question is that you have it automatically in your head that we were going to score. You know, we still have to score. So if we ran out of time and didn't get an opportunity to score, you would be asking me, why didn't I call a timeout? So anybody can play that side of the fence. So we got to cover the kickoff better. I don't think it had anything to do with how much time was on the clock. I don't care if there was 14 minutes and 44 seconds to go. We got to cover a kickoff better than that. I don't care how much time is left on the clock. That has nothing to do with it. But you got to give yourself ample enough time to score. We scored, and we were happy about that. But if we didn't score, we may have needed more plays. If to get more plays, you need more time. So you can't say, hey, we're going to score. If we knew we were going to score all the time, we'd manage the clock a lot differently all the time. But you're going with the assumption that that the score was an automatic. The score wasn't an automatic. So, and we actually had a fight to get in there. It took us a lot of plays to get in there. So that's part of the whole process that goes on. So we never want to try to say, hey, when we score, we want to have 3 seconds to go on the clock. So to do this, let's do this with the timeout situation. We need to score. And I'm not hey, you scored too fast. Your kickoff team's got to be better. That's obviously a depth issue for us. We got to do a better job there. We do a better job kicking it. So maybe that the ball's kicked out of the end zone and we don't get an opportunity to return it. And then we still did a good job of holding them to a field goal. But the difference in the game wasn't a 3-point game. So, I'm not a woulda, coulda, shoulda guy. So, all right, thank you.